Hey everyone, so this is my 2021 reading bullet journal setup. So I'm really excited about this video because I've been looking forward to setting up my new journal for like the past few months, and I'm just so happy that it's finally here. So this year I'm using an Archer and Olive bullet journal once again, and this is actually from their Halloween collection, and it is actually a different cover. So usually their bullet journals have like I don't know how to describe the texture, but it's like, it's not this texture. Sorry, I'm so bad with describing textures, but basically this is the classic hardcover and I do like it, but I will say I do prefer the other texture. I don't know why. I think just because this is slightly shiny and I'm just not into that. So anyway, I of course am decorating the cover with some stickers, and this is something I was always looking forward to, and I was tempted so many times to just do it off camera, but I know that it's satisfying to watch, so I waited to do it on camera. But basically I'm just using a lot of different stickers. So there are stickers from Redbubble. That Lydia sticker is from Lauren Ink Oddities. I also used some washi tape, and I actually did change up the cover just a little bit, so you'll see that later on in my future videos. But yeah, there were two stickers that just weren't sticking down properly, so I had to get rid of them, and then I just moved things around just slightly. So moving on to the first page, this is obviously just, you know, where I write my name, and I decided to stick in this little print. This is actually like a thank you card that I got from an artist when I bought some of their art on Etsy. I can't remember, I think it's Sage something, but I just really love that, so I thought I would just stick that in there. And I just used my stamps to write Chloe, added some washi tape. And then I just had to do my, you know, title page. So I just wrote 2021 reading journal with the stamps once again, and added a few stickers that I got from an Owlcrate box. And then I just used some Tombow pens to, you know, highlight reading journal, added some stars, really, really simple. Now this is the spread where I do like my bookshelf. So basically I just draw a bookshelf and I have heaps of different books on it, and when I read a book in 2021 I'll write down the name of the book on the spine, and then I also color code it, so I have physical, audiobook and ebook. And I just like how this is like a visual representation to see, you know, how many audiobooks I'm listening to, how many physical books I'm listening to. It's just a satisfying thing to do. Once I finish a book I can write it down here, and this was definitely one of my favorite spreads from my last year journal, so I had to do it again. So it is pretty similar because, like I said, I really like how it turned out, and you know, hopefully I don't read more than the amount of books that are on this spread, but obviously if I do, then that's fine. I didn't actually count how many there are. I think there's like 100, which should be good. My reading goal for 2021 is actually to read 80 books. I've lowered it a little bit. Usually I read 100 books a year, but I have lowered it since I have gotten a lot more busy now that I have my own place and stuff. But yeah, so we'll get into the goals later on because I do have a spread for that. And last year I had a very neutral theme, and once again, these spreads are pretty neutral, but I did want to add a little bit more color. So basically in the key, I am writing down each color that I'm using for physical, audio and ebook. So when I read a physical book, that is going to be the grey color. When I read an ebook, I'm using a purple, and when I listen to an audiobook, that's going to be pink. So yeah, I decided to add a little bit more color, and I also just wrote down underneath the color what number the Tombow dual brush pen is, so I always know exactly which one to use. And then finally I just added some vines to top off that spread. And now these spreads are, once again, it's like the same spreads that I did in my last year's bullet journal. So basically I like to print out book covers of every book that I read in the year. So this is where I stick those book covers in. And then I also just write my rating for the book underneath the book cover. So it's just nice to have this visual representation of all the books that I read in the year. So I left quite a few pages for me to, you know, have room to fit all the book covers there. And I just use the same measurements from last year. So I have a pages document where I have all the book covers and I just make them all the same size, obviously. And I think it's like 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters. I just always make it the same size when I'm printing them out. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite things to do when I finish reading a book, stick in the book cover. So of course I had to do it again, and I just added some washi tape. This writing washi tape is from Dudunaru on Etsy, and obviously I used some stamps once again to write the title, Books Read in 2021. Okay, so now this is the 2021 goals spread. So basically these are my reading goals for the year. So like I said, I want to read 80 books instead of 100 books this year. So the way that I came up with the number 80 is actually because I just counted how many boxes would fit on one page, and it was 80. So I was like, that feels like a good number. So that's why I decided to go with 80. And yeah, like I said, I've read 100 books for the past like few years, and I don't know if I'm going to reach it this year. I'm on like 95 or something at the moment, and I don't know if I'm going to hit it, but that's fine. I've just gotten so much busier because like I said, I moved out this year, and of course I'm going to be a lot busier. Plus I've spent more time doing my other hobbies. So, you know, I have to accept that I can't read 100 books every year, but you never know, maybe I will read 100 books next year, especially because I do want to read more like graphic novels and manga and stuff. So anyway, so basically this spread is actually really similar to last year's spread, and that's just because this is one of my favorite spreads in my journal and I just couldn't do a different one, you know what I mean? So it is slightly different, but it's very similar. So yeah, I have read 80 books. I also have read more. So every month I want to read more manga and graphic novels. I want to read more thriller/horror books, and I also want to read more romance. So those are the goals that I have included there. And then I also have a space for my other goals. So I think I just wrote read more nonfiction. So yes, I do want to read more nonfiction, but I don't necessarily need to read one a month, you know? That's why I didn't put it in the other table. But basically if I read a thriller/horror in January, then I'll color that box in, you know? That sticker of that person is very similar to the one I used last year, and I absolutely love that sticker. So that's why I had to use that same sticker again, because like I said, I just loved that spread and I just couldn't move on from it. So this spread is my 2021 overview, and this is actually one of my favorite spreads that I did. So basically I have like books. So I drew books, and then on the spine I wrote, you know, the month, and then I used my mild liner to color the spines in. And basically at the end of every month, this is where I write how many physical books I read, how many audiobooks I listened to, how many ebooks I read, and I just find it interesting to track these things, so that's why I'm doing it. And yeah, so I really like how this spread turned out because I also added some vines and then a lot of like forest stickers that I got in my recent Alcrate box, and they're so stunning. So I just really like the vibes of this spread. Oh, and I also wrote at the bottom total pages read and total books read. So at the end of the year, I'll write down how many books I read, how many pages I read. And I do track more analytics of my reading in a Google Sheets that Ali from Hardback Hoarder created, and she is creating another one for 2021, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, that's where I get all the stats for how many pages I read and stuff like that, because it automatically calculates it, and it's just super easy. Then the next spread is my top 21 books to read in 2021. So I'm pretty sure that video is up. Hopefully it is. I've already edited it, but I'm not sure when it's gonna go live. Basically, I filmed a video on my booktube channel talking about the top 21 books I want to read in 2021. So these are books that I already own that I really need to get to. So I decided to do a spread for this. So I wrote down all the titles on the left, and then on the right, I stuck in, you know, that brown paper. I decided to stick in photos of the book covers and create a sort of collage just so I can once again have that visual representation. I just love seeing the book covers, you know, because I love book covers. So that's why I decided to do a lot more spreads printing the book covers out. And then finally, I just added some more of those Owl Crate stickers. Okay, so this spread is my most anticipated releases of 2021 spread. Once again, I printed out the book covers, and I have already uploaded my video on Books with Chloe talking about my most anticipated releases. So I try to stick in the covers based on when they're coming out. So obviously the first book that's coming out is Eyes That Kiss in the Corners, which is coming out 5th of January. Anyway, so basically I just stuck in all the covers. I drew in a little heart above the book covers, and when I read the book, I will color in that heart. And then I wrote down the release date underneath the book cover. And I did stuff up the ordering a little bit, so I tried to fix it, but I also just couldn't fully fix it, so that's fine. So this spread is just a basic like TBR spread, so it's definitely not all the books on my TBR, but basically I just like to have a spread to, you know, have the top books on my TBR because I am a really big mood reader, so I always have different books on the top of my TBR. So I decided to use some washi tape to stick in a piece of paper so I can always switch out the piece of paper if I need to, you know, because like I said, it does tend to change quite often. And then on the right, I decided to have my manga/graphic novels TBR because I don't own as many, so I can write them all there. I didn't write them in this video because this video was taking so long to film. It literally took me the whole day. So I also created just a few little things in Procreate, so that is what I also used to stick in that page. And basically I created some book stacks, so that is where I will write the book, and when I read it I can color the book in. And then for my ARCs received page, I did it really simple. I just used some black paper, some washi tape, and that is where I will write down all the ARCs that I receive. I don't really request ARCs too often. Most of the time I receive them unsolicited, so I don't usually get too many, but you know, I thought I'd still do a spread for it. And if you don't know, ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copies, so they send them out to people to read before the release date. Anyway, so then the next spread is my gifted books. So basically this is where I write down the books that I receive from mostly publishers. Obviously sometimes I receive them from friends or subscribers, but I mostly receive books for free from publishers, and most of the time they're finished copies. So that is where I will keep track of all the books that I receive. And then the next spread is my subscription box spread. So basically I am a rep for Fairy Loot and Owl Crate, which are book subscription boxes. So that is where I will write down all the books that I receive in those boxes. And I just did it really simple. I just created this table. So I just wrote down book, company, and month. So obviously I'll write the book, which company, Fairy Loot or Owl Crate, and which month the box is. And then I also just added some stars. Now we're on to my Patreon book club spread. So if you don't know, I have a Patreon and every month we do monthly buddy reads and it is decided in a poll every month. So of course I want to track, you know, all the books that we read together, and these are more little illustrations that I created in Procreate. So I drew these little like books and I printed out 12 of those, obviously 12 months of the year, and I'll print out the book cover of every book that we read and put it on the book cover, you know, and underneath that I will put my rating for the book. And I also created that like book club title, and I put down some brown paper, and then I just wrote all the months of the year on the black piece of paper with my white gel pen. And if you're looking to find out any of these supplies, I link most of my supplies that I used in my description, so definitely check that out if you know, want to see what I'm using. Finally, I just added some Kiki's Delivery Service stickers because my tiers are Kiki's Delivery Service themed. So I have Tombow, Gigi, and Kiki tiers. So, you know, I had to put those stickers in. Anyway, so that is my final spread. My January plan with me has been filmed and edited, so that is definitely coming soon, probably within the next few days. But yeah, I'm really happy with these initial spreads, and starting a new journal is just so satisfying. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it to the end of this video, put a book emoji in the comments. If you're looking for more content from me, I have a Patreon like I've mentioned. I have my other channels, Books with Chloe and ASMR with Chloe. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is at journalwchloe. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this voiceover wasn't too rushed. I tried not to make this video like a million hours long because I had so much footage. It was hours and hours of footage that I really had to cut down. But anyway, I hope you're all having a good day or night, and I'll see you in my next video.